Every day, we navigate the world through the lens of our perceptions. The way we see people, events, and situations shapes not only our understanding, but also our reality. What we experience is often not an objective truth, but a reflection of how we interpret it. This powerful concept is captured in the Stoic philosophy, famously articulated by Epictetus. It's not events that disturb us, but how we view them. Imagine a situation where you're stuck in traffic. Your first instinct might be frustration, irritation, even anger. The event itself, a slow-moving vehicle, might seem like the source of your distress. But in reality, it is your perception of the event that causes the emotional upheaval. You could interpret the same event as an opportunity to listen to your favorite music or podcast, or even practice mindfulness. The difference lies in how you view the situation. By changing your perspective, you have the power to change your emotional response and consequently, your experience. This idea is not just theoretical, it can dramatically alter your life. Consider someone who loses their job. One person may see it as the end of the world, feeling overwhelmed by fear and helplessness. Another might see it as an opportunity to reinvent themselves, pursue a passion, or develop new skills. Both individuals experience the same event, yet their perception creates vastly different realities. The first is trapped in despair, while the second embraces possibility. To train your perception, start with small shifts. When faced with a challenging situation, take a moment to pause. Before reacting, reflect. How can I see this differently? Ask yourself whether your perception is based on assumptions or judgments. Try to detach yourself from the emotional surge and look at the facts. Over time, these small exercises will build your ability to view the world more objectively, empowering you to choose a response rather than simply reacting. The simple yet profound shift in how we view our circumstances holds the potential to change the course of our lives. As you begin to practice this, you'll notice a subtle but significant transformation in your experience of the world. By retraining your perception, you might just unlock a new sense of peace and possibility. Emotions are powerful forces that can govern our actions if we allow them to. At their best, they give colour and depth to our experiences. At their worst, they control us, clouding our judgment and driving us to act impulsively. If left unchecked, emotions can make us prisoners of our own minds, leading to rash decisions and unnecessary suffering. In the Stoic tradition, Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher king, teaches that reason should guide our emotional responses. He believed that by practicing mindfulness and self-control, we could prevent emotions from hijacking our thoughts and actions. When faced with anger, frustration, or fear, Marcus urged us to pause and reflect before reacting. This pause allows us to choose how we respond, rather than being swept away by the emotional tide. This approach aligns with psychological insights from Carl Jung, who believed that mastering our emotions is key to understanding ourselves. Jung argued that when we allow our emotions to dictate our behaviour, we fail to see the deeper motivations and triggers behind them. However, when we take the time to pause and reflect, we gain access to greater self-awareness and the ability to act with clarity. To master your emotions, start by practicing mindfulness in emotional situations. When anger or frustration arise, take a deep breath and count to 10 before speaking or acting. Ask yourself, what is the source of this emotion? Is it truly justified? By applying reason, you can prevent an emotional outburst that could later be regretted. Over time, this practice will not only give you better control over your emotions, but also lead to a greater sense of inner peace. The idea of emotional mastery is not about suppressing feelings. It's about choosing how to respond to them. By doing so, you can find a profound sense of freedom. Instead of being at the mercy of your emotions, you can rise above them, making choices that are aligned with your values and goals. As you continue to practice this, you'll find that your emotional responses become more balanced and measured, leading to a deeper sense of tranquility and control. The ability to control your emotions is not just a path to better relationships or success. It's a path to freedom. The freedom to live intentionally, unshackled by the uncontrollable whims of fleeting emotions. By choosing how to respond, you choose your peace. In life, there are countless factors beyond our control. External circumstances, other people's actions, and the unpredictable twists of fate. Yet despite these uncontrollable forces, we often spend an enormous amount of energy trying to influence them. The Stoics understood this tendency well, and they introduced the concept of the dichotomy of control, the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. The dichotomy of control is a powerful mental framework. It urges us to focus only on what we can influence, our thoughts, actions, and reactions. Everything else, like the weather, traffic, or the opinions of others, is outside our grasp. By acknowledging this, we release ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. The Stoics believe that peace of mind comes not from changing the world around us, but from adjusting our approach to the world. Consider a common struggle, a difficult work situation. Perhaps you're dealing with an unreasonable boss or facing a challenging project. It's easy to fall into frustration, blaming external factors for your stress. However, the Stoic approach would ask you to shift your focus. Instead of fixating on your boss's behavior or the project's difficulties, you can control how you respond. You can choose your attitude, your effort, and your integrity in the face of adversity. The key is recognizing that while you can't control the situation, you can control your actions and mindset within it. Let's take another example, a global crisis like a pandemic. There are many aspects of this situation that are beyond anyone's control. Government regulations, the spread of the virus, the economic fallout. But what you can control is how you protect yourself and others, how you maintain your health, and how you support those around you. By focusing on your own actions, you can navigate the crisis with resilience, rather than being overwhelmed by forces outside your control. When we focus solely on what we can control, a remarkable shift happens. Stress and anxiety diminish, because much of the anxiety we feel stems from trying to manage the uncontrollable. The more we invest energy into what we can influence, our actions, our responses, the more empowered and peaceful we become. Practicing the dichotomy of control daily transforms our approach to life. Instead of being dragged into a spiral of worry and frustration, we become more grounded. We act with purpose and clarity, knowing that we can handle whatever comes our way by simply focusing on our own responses. It's not about being passive. It's about choosing where to invest your energy, and that shift can profoundly change the course of your life. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the concept of virtue, a set of moral principles that guide us toward living in accordance with our best selves. For Marcus Aurelius, virtue was not just a lofty ideal, it was the very foundation of a good life. He believed that to live virtuously was to live in harmony with nature and reason, and that doing so would lead to true fulfillment regardless of external circumstances. The Stoics identified several core virtues that they believed everyone should strive for: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Wisdom involves using reason to guide our decisions. Courage is the strength to do what is right, even in the face of fear. Justice is the commitment to fairness and integrity. Temperance is the ability to control desires and impulses. Together, these virtues form the basis of a life well lived. But living virtuously is not about achieving perfection. It's about consistent effort toward personal growth. The Stoics didn't expect us to be flawless. They understood that we are all human, subject to mistakes and flaws. What matters is our commitment to improving ourselves day by day. Each decision we make, Each moment of self-reflection is an opportunity to grow closer to our best selves. Acting virtuously doesn't just bring inner peace, it also brings fulfillment, even in difficult times. When life throws challenges our way, virtue becomes our guiding light. If you face hardship with courage, if you act justly when confronted with adversity, if you practice wisdom when making decisions, then you can face anything with dignity and strength. In this way, virtue allows us to find peace not in the absence of struggle, but in our response to it. But virtue doesn't just change us, it changes the world around us. When we live according to our values, we inspire others to do the same. Our actions ripple out, influencing the people in our lives, our communities, and even society at large. By striving to be virtuous, we contribute to a world that is more just, more compassionate, and more harmonious. The impact is far-reaching and can create a legacy that transcends our own lives. As you practice virtue daily, remember that it's not about perfection, but about progress. With each virtuous action, you draw closer to the person you want to become. The more you embody wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, the more peace and fulfillment you will find, not only in yourself, but in the world around you. The path of virtue is not just a path of personal growth, it's a path that can transform everything. One of the most effective ways to reduce stress and increase inner peace is by broadening your perspective. Often, we become so fixated on immediate challenges, whether they're personal, professional, or societal, that we lose sight of the bigger picture. This narrow focus amplifies stress, making our problems feel insurmountable. However, when we step back and consider the broader context, we often realize that these struggles, though real, are fleeting. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher-emperor, regularly reflected on the transience of life. In his meditations, he often reminds himself of the brevity of human existence and the inevitability of death. By contemplating this, he was able to see his current struggles in a new light. For Marcus, the understanding that everything is temporary, both good and bad, allowed him to face life's challenges with equanimity and clarity. He understood that our problems, no matter how overwhelming they seem in the moment, are just passing moments in the grand span of time. Imagine a difficult situation, like an argument with a close friend or a setback at work. In the heat of the moment, it can feel as if your world is unraveling. But by broadening your perspective, by stepping back and considering the larger narrative of your life, you can remind yourself that this problem will eventually pass. The immediate stress fades when you realize that, in the grand scheme of things, it may not have the significance you once believed. This approach is not limited to Stoicism alone. Western philosophers like Aristotle, Plato, and Socrates also spoke about the importance of looking beyond the immediate to gain deeper wisdom. For Aristotle, the practice of phronesis, practical wisdom, required looking at a situation not just in the moment, but in relation to the long-term consequences and broader ethical implications. Plato emphasized the value of the form of the good, encouraging us to consider the ultimate truth and how our actions fit into a larger, more meaningful context. Socrates, ever the questioner, urged us to ask ourselves whether our immediate concerns were truly worth our time and energy. The act of questioning the importance of temporary troubles is transformative. When faced with stress, pause and ask, how significant will this seem a year from now? 5 years? 10? When you consider your challenges from this broader perspective, their hold on you weakens. By shifting your focus to the bigger picture, you gain clarity and a sense of peace. The things that once felt overwhelming become manageable. This shift in perspective is one of the most powerful tools in reducing stress and cultivating inner peace. When you embrace this perspective, you gain a deeper understanding of your life's true priorities. Instead of becoming entangled in short-term worries, you learn to prioritize what truly matters. Over time, This practice will lead to a calm, centered life, where external circumstances no longer dictate your emotional state. The peace that comes from seeing beyond the immediate is not just a temporary escape, it's a lasting, transformative shift in how you experience the world. As we've explored throughout these lessons, Stoic philosophy offers timeless wisdom for navigating the challenges of life with clarity and peace. Each lesson, training your perception, controlling your emotions, focusing on what you can control, embracing virtue, and broadening your perspective, offers a key to unlocking a more peaceful, intentional life. By training your perception, you learn to see the world in a way that empowers you to choose your response instead of simply reacting. Through emotional mastery, you gain the ability to act with reason, not impulse, leading to deeper self-understanding and emotional freedom. The dichotomy of control teaches you where to direct your energy, helping you to focus on what you can influence and letting go of what you cannot. Embracing virtue as your guiding principle allows you to live in accordance with your highest values, which brings both personal fulfillment and a positive impact on the world around you. Finally, broadening your perspective helps you put temporary troubles into context, reducing stress and cultivating a deeper sense of peace. These 5 lessons, when practiced together, form the foundation for clear thinking and a peaceful life. The Stoic path is not a quick fix. It's a daily practice, a commitment to consistently reflecting, learning, and growing. Mastering Stoic principles takes time, and there will be moments of struggle. But with consistent effort, you will find that these practices become second nature, transforming your responses to life's challenges. I encourage you to take these lessons and integrate them into your daily life. Start small. Perhaps begin by reflecting on your perception when faced with a challenge, or pausing to consider your emotional response before reacting. Over time, as you continue to practice Stoicism, you'll notice a profound shift in how you navigate the world. One where stress and anxiety hold less power, and where clarity and peace become your constant companions. Remember, the path of Stoicism is a journey, not a destination. Each day offers an opportunity to grow and to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world. Continue learning, practicing, and reflecting. And you will find that Stoicism is not just a philosophy, but a way of life. So take the first step today. Practice Stoicism daily and watch as it changes your life.